Welcome to a Carpool Gaming review of Uncharted Legacy of Thieves Collection. We got the code, we got the game, but we're going to tell you why we're disappointed in it. I got Sean here joining me. We're going to go through the whole thing of it. We're going to talk about the graphics. We're going to talk about the gameplay. We're not going to talk about the story because you know what? That's the best part of this game. That's the best part of both the games. Fantastic story. But we're going to jump into it right now. Whoa! Hi, welcome to the Legacy of Thieves Collection in review. I got Sean Capri here, and we're going to go over everything with you. So, Sean, I want to tell everybody why, right off the bat, we're going to get into this. Why are we disappointed in this?
Wow. Well, I'm mixed. I'm not like over the moon, and we are going to get into this. And by the way, hi, Court. Good to see you, man. You look handsome as ever, my friend. I played this on PC. I'm a big PC nerd now, as everybody knows. And thank you for having me on the PlayStation Drive here.
What's the specs?
I have a 3080 and a i7 blah, blah, blah. But the big showcase of my setup is my 49-inch ultra widescreen Samsung G9 Odyssey monitor. It's awesome. This thing is game changing. Now, I was excited to fire up this game and find out that there was ultra wide support, which all looks really good, except for when we get into those cutscenes, it kind of just like shrinks back in. Then you get a nice little cutscene, and then it opens back up and the gameplay is great. But so that's one thing that for me personally was like, I would have liked to see that extra little something for that. But yeah, we've got lots to cover here, man. And I am mixed because just out of the gates, this is one of my favorite Uncharted games, Uncharted 4 specifically. I always go back and forth between this one and the second one. I think this has the best villain of any Uncharted game in the mix, and that's kind of the key thing. I think the characters are great. But yeah, primarily I think we're here to talk about the PC port that we played here, available on Steam.
So yeah, for me, I have to echo Uncharted 4 is one of my favorite games of all time. Story is fantastic. Great jumping back in, but I kind of did that just recently on the PlayStation 5. And Lost Legacy, another one of my favorites. I love the little snippets. It's just giving you that short little story, gives you that semi-open world that they were trying with Uncharted. And I love Uncharted, one of my favorite franchises. I was playing it on a 3060. I put my settings all the way to ultra.
Yeah.
It didn't give me any frame rate drops to talk some text.
Yeah,
specs with everybody here. I had no issues with that. My biggest issue with it is maybe it's because I was saying this to you before, Sean. I came off playing Spider-Man.
Right.
Spider-Man Remastered on the PC is the definitive version of Spider-Man. It's right now the only way I would play that game.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm going to jump back into the Spider-Man world, I'm going to be playing on PC. It is unbelievable. The ray tracing, the frames, they're everything. When I jumped into the settings for this game, it was one of the first things I saw. Now, originally I started playing this on my laptop. I messaged Sean when I was away on vacation, and I was like, it's not that good.
Yeah.
I have been back. I have been playing for 48 hours on my PC. I've logged over 10 hours into both games just on my PC here at home. And I was a little disappointed on the sliders. After setting it all the way to ultra, I saw that you could lock it at 30 frames per second.
Yes, that's weird, man.
It's
Why
so weird.
That is my biggest hang up, like biggest kind of like high level. There's some nitty gritty stuff I want to get into. But yeah, with all the different sliders, there's all this DLSS, there's resolution scaling. That's all really great. I have, I think, a rig good enough to like max everything out. Except the fact that the only lock that you have is 30 frames. That is bizarre. So it's either 30 or I guess you can push out, at one point I was pushing 120, 140 frames.
Yep, same.
Right. Which is great, but there's all that variability. And personally, I like just to, if it's steady at 60, give me 60. But the way I had to do that was in my hardware settings, in my NVIDIA settings, you can cap it at 60, and then everything was great. But this is the thing. This is a theme. Actually, it was the same thing with God of War. Actually, I want these things capped at, or even multiple options, certainly. But if you're going to have these games come out on PC, these are some of the expectations I think we have over here.
Yeah, and especially after playing the PC port of Spider-Man, I'm gonna use it as an example because it was a masterpiece. It gave me everything I wanted. I could go, and for this game specific, I've played it on the PlayStation 5, and I'm able to do fidelity mode and performance mode.
Yeah,
they didn't give me that. They just made me do the ultra and so on and so forth.
Well, that's PC. Yes, that's the interesting thing going back and forth between PC and console. They didn't have
the frame rates, right? So I couldn't lock frame rates. So I did what you did. I went into I called up my brother, who he knows a lot, and he told me to go into the settings and I could lock them.
Yeah.
And I did lock them at 60 because it just didn't work any other way, because I was a little disappointed in the fact that if you're going to be porting this to PC, I would expect, especially after you're porting it after Spider-Man, that everything is going to be in that echelon of ray tracing, so on and so forth. And the fact that you look surprised when I went 3060, I'm like, oh, I threw it on ultra, and you're like, what?
That's pretty good.
It did nothing. Yes, the game looks beautiful. Yes, this is the definitive version of this game.
Yep.
But there's a caveat to this. If you have already played these games on your PlayStation 5 and you've already played that newer version, I don't think you need to play this.
Sure. Yep. Yeah, I think this is the interesting thing about PlayStation's strategy right now is this game's coming way after. So hopefully hitting a new audience, which is great, but I think PC players are going to know some of these things as well. I had a couple hiccups at the start, actually, and I'm not sure. There was a patch midway through the review period that might have cleared things up, but my first probably half hour, 45 minutes, there's a scene where you're on a boat with Sam and you're ramming it into all these other things. And there was like a steady hiccup. Like anytime I would collide with anything, the sound would cut out for a second and it would come back in. And that had me just going back and forth into the settings. Like, okay, maybe I can't do ultra, like, because I don't play a huge number of games on my PC. I'm like, and especially since I've gotten this monitor, I thought maybe the ultra wide was maybe throwing things out there. So I was dialing things down to medium and all this stuff. And yeah, having some very strange hiccups, even with like the fight scene in the prison at the start as well. Like it was a brutal experience at the start. But as I started to get into the game, and actually this is a kind of an analog to the game itself, gets better as you go along here. The gameplay itself, very smooth. And I'm especially coming off of playing The Last of Us Part 1 on PS5 a little while ago. Like Nathan Drake he flies around, man. He's so smooth. Like the animation is so great and jumping around and everything is good. But I was a little worried starting out. I really had to fix things up. So I'm hoping, I haven't gone back. So maybe that's patched out here. But I had some weird technical hiccups to start things out.
Now, I will say this, when playing Lost Legacy, unbelievable. The very beginning of the game where you're going through the rooftops.
Yep.
And they have the neon signs. Wow. It just shone. It's the better of the two looking of games.
Sure.
Even though near the ending of Uncharted 4, where it's more darker tones, unbelievable. The setting, the set pieces, the lighting, so on and so forth. But at the same time, I was expecting ray tracing. I was expecting all these things that we now expect on PC, especially the conversation all the time now. Are we getting next gen games anymore? We have a game releasing just on the consoles that's going to be 30 frames per second. There's things now when I, as a new PC person, I just started getting, like, look how excited I was after Spider-Man. I finished my review on Spider-Man and I was like, oh my God, this is unbelievable. But then I got to this and I was like, wow, I'm a little disappointed because I think I can still have this experience on my console.
Yeah.
So when I'm playing a game on PC, I want to have that ultimate experience.
Yeah.
Yes, the game looks beautiful, but I'm like, the differences between the console version on the PlayStation 5 right now and this PC version, there's not much.
Sure. Yeah. Even with everything maxed out. And it's funny because I was looking at this thing going, I'm trying to measure, is it because I'm sitting too close to my monitor? But that's how you play games on PC. You sit very close and everything. And I'm realizing this is it's a PS4 game. It's last gen. So it's not necessarily like remastered in any sort of way. It's a port of a PS4 game. A great PS4 game, of course.
Unbelievable.
But yeah, this is all the things that you're getting around to. The ultra wide, I will say, like when you're driving, because that's one of the things that you get about halfway through the first game and you get a Jeep and everything. That's great. It really is, especially with some of these views that you get. Ultra wide support is a big deal for this, and it runs very, very smoothly. It's just like I said, those cinematics that kind of creep back in. It takes you a little bit out and reminds you that this is a port. And that's kind of the hallmark of, is this going to be a great experience, or is this good or worse? But whenever you can kind of go like, oh yeah, this existed somewhere else. You don't want to feel that on PC. You don't want to go, oh, they right click saved as PC on this.
Yeah, I got disappointed so much that I wanted to jump into Lost Legacy. And that one thing will say about Lost Legacy, I think it was the better of the two versions of the port.
Yeah.
Also the game was made after.
Sure.
It's a newer of the two.
Yeah. Tighter experience.
And even the visuals at the very beginning where you're walking through the streets, it looked beautiful.
Yeah.
It looked unreal. Nadine and Cole, very phenomenal characters. Probably one of the most underrated Uncharted games. A lot of people always just put it to the side. I truly think if you haven't played the Uncharted games, play this. I will say this. Any PC player that has been waiting to play the Uncharted series, please play this. But I will say to PlayStation, and thank you PlayStation Canada for providing codes for us on this. If you're going to port Uncharted 1, 2, and 3, please remaster them.
Yeah.
Please just don't port them. Please remaster them, because they're some of the best video games of all time. And when you, like I said, now when I put something on PC, I played Uncharted on PC. Tomb Raider on PC.
Yep.
Unbelievable.
Yep.
Unbelievable.
Oh yeah.
Spider-Man. Unbelievable.
Yeah. Tomb Raider is actually like a benchmarking game on PC. Like people look to like Shadow the Tomb Raider, even though I think reviews on that are mixed critically. Like as far as what your system can do, like those games are there for that. The Nathan Drake collection with 1, 2, and 3 was something that you could get on PS4, and it was a little bit up res if I can remember correctly. But yeah, I'd like to see something polish. I wouldn't imagine it being anything more than this, but Uncharted, it's amazing. Like it's such an important series, man. Like the way that it was the reason I bought a PS3. I saw Nathan Drake get his jeans wet and I'm like, I gotta have that in my life. Like this is amazing. And the thing about it is I would love to, people are so mad about the Last of Us Part 1 remaster and does it need that, blah, blah, blah. I would love for this to get that treatment, because there's these moments between these characters that still hit really. I've got to say, with Sam and Elena, like there's moments with Drake that just like, oh my gosh, I'm weeping. And there's so much heaviness, especially with this new character that they've just added in. How did they do that? So great. Wouldn't it be amazing if they had that added facial animation that we just saw with Part 1?
100%. There's many scenes with Drake in the first 3 games where he's making the subtle joke, but at the same time, he's doing that Indiana Jones joke. Oh yeah. Let's be all real here. Nathan Drake is based off Indiana Jones. Yeah. There's no doubt about it. Like there's way too many similarities, but just those subtle nuances, especially even in, I think is it 2 or 3 where they start in the bar?
3.
In one of them, 3, when they start in the bar and he's making those wise, but he's really actually hurting at the same time, making those jokes. It would be something to see, especially because both of us love the remaster, and I'm actually one of those people that loves the remasters. Yeah. I have no problem with it, especially I'll take more any day of the week. Uncharted to me made sense. Once they did Last of Us, I'm like, oh, that means we're gonna get Uncharted, and I kind of maybe had my hopes a little too high on these 2 ports, because that's what they are. They're just ports. Yeah. They're not anything to write home about. I was hoping to get that Nathan Drake like cutscene that we've seen like from trailers in the game. Yeah.
Well, you can't believe like what you're seeing. Like that's definitely not it. And I know that we're focusing mostly on like the PC, kind of the technical aspect, which who knows if we're the right people to be doing that, but this is what you get. What about can I talk to you quickly about gameplay? Because this is not a brand new game. We've had many games have evolved ever since, but we got 3. It's crazy to think about. We had 3 Uncharted games on PS3. This was on PS4. Games have come a long way ever since then. How did you feel about playing Uncharted 4 in 2022?
So for me, I already had that experience when I played it on PS5. Right. And I was blown away on how much better it was, and I forgot how good it was. Yeah. I went back after playing it and went back and tried to play the Uncharted collection. The 1, 2, and 3. Yeah. 1 is unplayable. Is it? It's just unplayable now. 2 is beautiful, but at the same time, there's a lot of hiccups. 3 Now, you know what, Greg Miller? You're right. It's 10 out of 10. 3 still holds up.
Okay, well, now I can't trust anything that you're saying.
That's fine.
2's the better game. 2's way better.
Well, no. 2 is the better game. The train sequence is probably one of the best I've ever played in a video game. It's the most movie-like sequence I've ever played in a game.
Oh my gosh, it's so good.
It's unbelievable.
It's the desert in the third one that ruins it for me. Like, oh my gosh, get me out of here, man.
Yeah, fair. I would look at the Uncharted series of 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah.
And I would throw Lost Legacy in there as some of the best video game collection ever.
Agreed. Yeah. This is Naughty Dog. By the way, it's so weird to see Naughty Dog on my computer. I took pulled out my phone. I'm like, I shut the game down, fired it back up again just so that I could take the screenshot. Like, it's just beautiful. You love to see Naughty Dog on your PC screen.
And the evolution of the combat from the first one all the way into the fourth one, it's so much ease of use, and the shooting is just so much better, and the cover.
Yep.
And
stealth.
To be honest, you know what I missed the most was using the grappling hook. I will never. I can do without attaching my car to the door just to pull it. I can do without that, but the grappling hook is unbelievable. But I can also do without sliding down rock faces.
Oh, no kidding.
I can do without that.
Yeah, I'm with you on 100% on this stuff, man. It's so interesting. And I actually look at this one very similar to Gears 5. I would say Gears 5 opened things up quite a little bit more, but it's clear that they wanted to go a little more than the very linear kind of path. You could kind of drive around as you're driving away from this big tank at one point. And it's like, what path are you going to choose? There's definitely elements of that. But yeah, it's an older style game. And I'm wondering, the reason I bring it up is because, like, I love it and I will always love it. This is going to hold up in my mind for forever and ever. But I'm curious for people who haven't played an Uncharted game, if this is their first one, this is their first foray into it. People have been hyping this game up or this series up for over a decade. So I'll be curious to see what people have to say about that, you know?
My hope is that people will fall in love with it because these are 2 good games to play that don't feel like old game is old.
Yeah.
Like, because Uncharted 1, it does.
Sure.
The mechanics and the cover system and the gun, wow, it's real bad.
Yeah.
But great story. Uncharted 4 has a very amazing story. And I would almost say Lost Legacy, you don't need to know anything about Uncharted to play that game.
Yeah.
So my hope is that this opens and sets the Uncharted world afire and makes PlayStation some money so that we can get more Uncharted.
Yeah.
Like, that's the way I look at it. And I also look at this as a great thing that the PlayStation games are now coming to PC.
Totally.
I have to take the huge positive that I'm playing, just having on the PC, having the PlayStation logos go across and the whole like cutscene. It's almost like a Marvel cutscene now, which I do love.
Yeah.
It gets me happy because I do have a PC and I do like playing on my PC because I want to see it blow out the water and have that Spider-Man experience.
Yep.
And that's maybe, I think because I love Uncharted so much, that's where my disappointment comes in.
Sure. Yeah.
Because I wanted to be blown away by this, but I want to say the positives of how phenomenal the story is, how great the voice acting is, how perfect Naughty Dog does stories.
Yeah.
And takes you on this roller coaster of emotions. And I want to talk about how I think this will be a jump off point for future. I know PlayStation has come out and said, like, they said 6 months to a year, we'll see when we're releasing games after. My hope is that PC won't just be a port in the future.
Right.
There's going to be the PC version of said game. Yeah. Like Spider-Man is a PC version. It's not a port.
Yeah. Yeah. I think with the new games, they've got a lot of, and you guys talk about this on the PlayStation Drive regular, but with these live service games coming out, like the PC is going to be day and date. They've got to have the biggest audience they possibly can have. So that will, I think, satisfy or check that box off in the future. I don't know, this could be another topic for the show in the future, but like what other games are out there that they need to bring up to the PC? Like
Ghost of Tsushima.
This felt like felt like a catch up, you know, it felt like there's a catalog there.
100%.
I think Sackboy is coming at some point too.
So Sackboy is coming, and then one that I am looking forward to is coming out on the 18th would be Miles Morales, because I think both Spider-Man and Miles Morales were made at a time where we got the other version where I think we're going to see the oh my God moments, especially a game like Miles Morales, Spider-Man, for instance, when that 120 frames happens on your screen in the draw distance.
Yeah.
I was blown away. I was like, that was the first time I ever was like, oh my God, PC people were right. And this is the better version of the game.
Yeah, no kidding.
And I didn't get that with Uncharted.
It's the same.
It just felt like I was playing a console game on the PC.
Yep. I will say they can take a pause on bringing things over onto PC for at least a couple of seconds, so long as they can get trophy support on this thing. I did the stage fright. If anybody remembers, they did a demo. Do you know where this trophy comes from? There's a trophy you can get midway through the game. You're in like a town, and if you stay still, you don't move. Right. So it's a throwback to the E3 where the controller wasn't working. And you get the Steam achievement, like it's there in the corner, and it's like,
and you could barely see it actually, and it's not the same. Now, I will say this: you can link Spider-Man to your PSN now.
Oh, interesting.
So they added it in, and I don't know. That didn't happen till after release. I've looked through the notes that we have been sent. There's nothing that says it's going to be.
It's the same as God of War.
I'm hoping that they will allow you to, since they know they can do it on Spider-Man, that we can start doing it with other things and you can have the linkage. Because you can. I haven't gone into Spider-Man to do it. You can go into Spider-Man now and link it to your PSN.
Interesting. Yeah, more of that, please.
I am the same as you. I want it like on Xbox. When you play an Xbox game, say you're playing Halo on your PC, you get the achievement.
Yep.
And you also
like
get the
achievement. Yeah, not a Steam, whatever. Who cares? I don't know. I don't even know if PC people care about their Steam achievements. Like, it just seems like it's there.
They don't. You know, I've talked to my brother about this before. He's like, no, because you don't get the ding. It just shows up in the corner, and half the time you don't even know. Yeah,
I want my platinums. I think it would be great to be able to have a platinum in this game on PS4 and on PC.
I would get it.
Yeah,
if it showed up in my PSN and it's in the list. I'm getting it.
Yeah, like I'm playing it as if I'm getting trophies. Like, I did that thing. There's no reason if I don't care about. Maybe I care a little bit about it, but I just wanted the off chance that they'll patch it in later.
I didn't even look for treasures because I don't care for Steam.
But that's what I was just going to say. I'm still doing it. And that's the amazing thing about this kind of game is it's designed in such a way that you're like, I know I'm supposed to go over here, but there's a room to the left. And if I just go in there, surely there's going to be a treasure. And then sure enough, there it is.
And for the people that haven't played Uncharted and they listen to us right now, the Easter eggs galore in these games of previous Uncharted or previous Naughty Dog games, previous PlayStation lore. There is so many Easter eggs in these games that you can find and have some fun with and go, oh. And honestly, there's Indiana Jones Easter eggs in every single game. So
there you go.
It's phenomenal.
It really is, man. The story, the characters, the way that they have is a bit of a send off on this. Where we find Nathan and Elena in the, like, it's just masterful storytelling and matched up with really fun gameplay and a good mix of your usual monster claws. You run in and you shoot a bunch of guys, but then you're doing some puzzle solving. I really like the puzzles. I feel smart because I don't get too stumped by them.
And I felt really smart because I'd already done them all. And I was like, oh, boom,
exactly.
boom, boom.
I mean, that's probably a lot of it.
I was zooming through them and I was just like, this is amazing. I didn't have to look up any guides. That was the other thing. I know how much I love this series that I went back and I was able to do it all. Like it was muscle memory. I could do all the puzzles. I could just keep going and keep going. And I wanted to. Like, I am going to play it more.
Yeah.
I just, man, I truly think Spider-Man spoiled me. And I just want everything to be like that when I play it on PC. Because when I play on my PS5, I expect this.
Yeah.
But this game looks like a PS5 game on my PC.
I think it looks like a PS4 game on your PC.
Yeah, it looks like the water looks terrible. I don't know what it is. The water, I don't know what it is.
I'm with you.
Looks terrible.
I'm totally with you. Yeah, and that's why, like, the very first scene is you in a boat, like, slime, and then they do like, let's go back. Like, they start you most of the way through the story, and then let's go back. And that
there's
opening
even
scene
Lost Legacy. You're riding on the rooftops, and there's lights there, and there's rain coming down, and the rain is hitting the light bulb, and it doesn't look good. I
think that's really it. And you can compare it to other games that have been ported to PC, but like, really the heritage of this game is that it was a showstopper. Like I said, this was the Uncharted on PS3. It was the reason I bought a PS3. It's just, I've never seen a game look so great. You know, they must be cranking something special out of that cell processor. Same thing with 4, like when Naughty Dog just had the special sauce on this stuff to make games look great. This didn't blow me away. So it's a PS4 game that exists on PC. people should play it because it's a great game. But if you're really looking to kind of blow your eyeballs out of their sockets, it's not going to do that. And I think that's where our disappointment mostly lies.
Yeah, and if you're someone that's played the series and you love them like I do, you know what? Is it a day and date? It's tough for me to say yes, unless you're truly like you need to play the Uncharted every version.
Yeah,
then sure.
Yeah,
but we all know Steam. We all know how it works. This game's gonna go on sale.
I mean, like let's put it this way. I think that if you're really gonna serve the PC audience well, probably you should do this on PS5 as well. Just make all of them. All in one.
Agreed.
Nathan Drake Ultimate Collector's Super Turbo Edition plus Game of the Year version. Give us that.
I honestly want an Uncharted. People will get mad. Give me an Uncharted collection 1, 2, and 3, but make it so that the PC version of this game is like, oh my god, because 120 frames of Nathan Drake is unbelievable. It is so much more smoother. And number one could use such a redo, like remake it from the ground up, please. Redo that game.
Not that I don't want to. I mean, I kind of have to compare a little bit. Like I played Tomb Raider 2 on PC. Like I was a PC dork way back in the day. So it's interesting having Nathan Drake coming over to PC where we have been able to play Tomb Raider games for quite some time, actually. So
it's okay to compare because once again, let's be real. They're all, as someone who just got back from Hollywood Studios and just saw the Indiana Jones live and then it went down a rabbit hole and downloaded the movies to watch on the plane. Guess what? They're all Indiana Jones, okay?
I know.
So they literally, like, Lara Croft is Indiana Jones, the person that goes after the artifacts and that it belongs in a museum person. Nathan Drake is the Indiana Jones that cracks jokes all the time and, you know, says, I hate snakes and why does it have to be snakes?
Oh, like crap. Yeah.
Like that, you put those two together and you have Indiana Jones. Like and honestly, that's not a bad thing.
Sure. Yeah.
Not at all.
No, this is great. Everybody's wonderful in this. Rafe especially, probably one of my favorite. Troy Baker is Sam.
Unbelievable.
So good. Elena this is her game. It's so good. But yeah, I think
Sully with the tuxedo.
Sully, oh my gosh, yes, yeah, dude. Great. Like you get a little heist in here, you get a little chase, you get all that climbing, of course.
I think it is. I think my final verdict on this and how I'll wrap it up is, I love this game so much, and that's why I'm disappointed. I love the Uncharted series. I think they're right up there. Last of Us is my favorite game of all time.
Yeah,
but I'm right with you, Sean. I literally bought a PS3 so I could play Uncharted 1 and 2. And then Uncharted 3 came out like 2 months after I bought my PS3. I got to play them all in a row.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, I've played the pinnacle of video games.
So good. Yeah.
So if you have never played these games, day and date, get on this, play these games.
Yep.
If you've played these games before, you can wait because you played this game before.
For sure. Yeah, I agree. I wish we were arguing about this a little more.
It's funny. We kind of were at the first, if you remember. So Sean and I were messaging each other while playing this game, and I was like, "No, I'm having a great time with it." But I was playing on my laptop, thinking that when I turn on my PC, I'm gonna get blown away, and I'm like, "Oh, so my laptop wasn't far off from what I was playing." And I was playing on a Surface 4. With 4K.
Yeah. Not a gaming laptop, but really by any stretch. Not at all.
Yeah. And I could get it at 60 frames per second, no problem.
That's pretty good.
And the game looked great. And I was like, well, it's going to look so much better on my PC. And then I'm like, oh, it doesn't look that much better. And the fact that it ran on my laptop should have told me right off the bat.
Oh, I see what you mean. I mean, that seems to be optimized. So like, again, I probably should go back and check that, the first hour or so, because I had some very strange hiccups, but game as I went on, totally great. But yeah, I think I've probably said all I need to say about this. I just love these characters so much.
Yeah, it's so weird. People are gonna hear this and be like, "But you didn't," and we're like, "But we love them."
Yeah,
like, Nathan Drake is literally one of the greatest video game characters of all time.
He totally is. Every time any question on any podcast, like, who would you hang out with? Who do you want to have a beer? It's always Nathan. You can't even think about anybody else.
No.
Yeah.
Well, Sully's right up there.
Sully gets overlooked too much.
Sully's my boy because he wears the Hawaiians, the floral, and likes to have a nice scotch.
Sully. Oh my gosh.
I'm Sully.
Can we? Yeah, we need to do a little dress up sometime.
Yeah. Oh, dude. I even have the Nathan Drake wallet and the coin. I have it all.
Yeah.
I was actually looking into getting the necklace because I was going to be in for Halloween this year,
that's
but we're not doing
good.
Yeah, why not?
Okay,
He's the best.
done.
It's such an easy one, right? Just get a Henley shirt with a little gun. Oh,
yeah,
it's the best. I don't care if no one knows what I'm doing. I don't care.
I'm with you, man.
It's great.
All right.
Well, that's it.
That's all I got.
That's our verdict. Our verdict here at Carpool Gaming is, we're not going to give it a score. We're going to say it's a great game. I just wish it was better on PC. That's all.
Yep.